What's up, guys, and welcome to my review for a film that I've had the poster up for a couple months now, just hiding on the side of the shelf. Did any of you notice it? Well, it's The Creator. This film is even on the poster, on all the posters, it says from the director of Rogue One. It wants you to know that going into it. Why is that? I'm not entirely sure, because if you guys know, with the behind the scenes of Rogue One, Gareth Edwards directed some of that movie, but there was so many reshoots, like the Darth Vader scene at the end of it. Gareth Edwards probably didn't direct that. But he directed, he's got his name on Rogue One. So I guess that was a good thing. It's a Star Wars movie, so they say, you know what? We're going to market from that. And this is a sci-fi film. This is an original sci-fi film that I don't think it did terrible at the box office, but it didn't do that great either. The word of mouth I don't think was strong enough, and I've had it on digital for a couple weeks now. Like when it hit digital, I've had it since then. We just haven't watched it until now. Certainly after the Oscar nominations came out, where it's like nominated for 2 Oscars, Best Visual Effects and Best Sound, I said, well, we got to watch this before the Oscars and before I put out my top 10 of the year list. So The Creator stars John David Washington. He is a widowed man who's in this sci-fi world where there's AI and humans alike, and some people like the AI, some people don't like the AI. The AI has gotten so sophisticated that it's now, uh, you know, police, and they have their own minds. They've gotten that sophisticated. That takes place in the future. So the story of the film, basically, John David Washington has a wife who is murdered, not really murdered, but killed. And now he is on a mission to potentially find out what really happened that night and to protect this child that is said to be a weapon that can destroy humanity. The first 30 minutes of this movie blew my socks off. I thought the opening was great, and I thought the first big action sequence, that first half hour, was great. The setup, the build, so good. I mean, John David Washington's character, very likable. He's giving a great performance. When we meet the kid, she's very likable. Alfie and Joshua, the characters' names, very likable, great chemistry. And I was like, wow, this could really be one of my favorites of the year. And then the second act happens, and I was like, okay, not loving it as much, but I'm still really into it, invested into it. But then the third act of the film happens, where this movie completely derails. I haven't seen a movie derail like this in a very long time. I was into it and interested to see what was going to happen, how this was going to pan out. But they dropped the ball completely. There's something that happens where I was like, oh, well, I kind of wish that didn't happen. And then that eventually goes to something else happening, to something else happening, to these events that just start to happen to the end of the film, that I was like, wow, this just completely went to your cliched sci-fi movie, when the first half of the film was not a cliched sci-fi movie. It was so original. But by the end of it, it just they didn't know how to write the end of the movie. It's like they didn't have a plan. If this was the plan, if this was how they planned it to end, it was not well written. The third act of this movie was so disappointing. It's one of the most disappointing endings, third acts that I've seen in quite some time. Now, the visual effects, they are fantastic, deserving to be nominated for the Oscar. The sound is also great. I love the sound effects. Big sci-fi movie. It looks great. It sounds great. It's a beautiful looking movie. The cinematography, I mean, it is a gorgeous looking film that derails and leaves me being like, I liked it. I just can't say that I loved it, or I can't even say I really liked it, because of how the last 20, 25 minutes of this movie just completely goes off the rails into cliched, just disappointment. So, look, I'm going to give The Creator 3.5 out of 5 stars. That's still kind of high, I think, for this movie. But that's where I'm going to put it. Because of the originality of the first half, it's so sad what happened with this. Like, if you guys seen the movie, I wish that I could get into it more, but I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't seen it. But there's just, man. And Allison Janney as well. Loved her character, and I loved her performance. And what ultimately happens with that character is where the film started to derail for me. I'll just say that. So that's my thoughts on The Creator, guys. Comment down below. Did you see the movie? What did you think about it? Were you disappointed by the third act like I was? Leave that down below. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We got new reviews up on the channel. Our latest review for The Iron Claw, that's up now. And a review for The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Just coming on 4K Blu-ray, and I haven't seen it yet. I'm very excited to do so. That's coming later today. And within the next week, you can expect my picks for the top 10 best movies of 2023. That list is on its way. Guys, you can follow me on Twitter and or X at RyanKing72 and Instagram and TikTok at KingOfRises131. And that's about it for me. Thank you so much for watching my review for The Creator. And until next time, over and out.